textbook and look at the quizzes.
Are you taking my pen?
Hmm?
Forward it to me,
Okay.
please.
All right, so it's already recording. So
Okay.
for this recording, we can just trim it down.
Okay.
In the beginning, so we don't have to worry about that. So just use your computer as is. Just know you're sharing screen, and
Okay.
it's going to end up in the recording.
Okay.
So let me get to the project mode.
Edit. Does anyone want crackers? No, thank you.
We need a student worker named Polly.
What?
So we need a student worker named Polly.
Oh,
Is
serious.
that Brie? I
Do you
love
want it?
Brie. I love Brie.
Great.
No, I want the crackers.
Get that. Stars. Star nuts.
You technically got 8 minutes, but
What? What, Amy?
I'll let a student take the seat while I told them. Yes, thank you. The Brie.
Oh, were you like
Amazon. Yeah, I love her. She goes everywhere with me. Her name is Reba.
you named your pen Reba? What?
Goes everywhere with me. She needed a name. She's part of who I am. I am known for my fan. Yes.
I got a baby fan, but I need to charge it. And I forget how fun it gets in here until I'm sitting here for hours.
Well, literally. It was freezing this morning. I was like,
This morning sucked. I don't know why it was so hard. I was an accident.
here?
Yeah,
It was freezing.
You were freezing.
Wait, this is in her dress.
My inbox, someone keeps it going.
I mean, there's some button. I'm not sure what that means. That's wild. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Okay, Barbie, Kaylee, I'm unique. Sophia, Lauren, and then Allison is the only one waiting. And I think Abe's coming. Tell me if I'm in your space. You'll. Oh. How's everybody's semester going? I've already almost forgotten about an assignment.
Yeah.
Thought you were about to Fall.
down.
Uh-huh.
I suppose so too.
Okay, you can see my messages. Cool. Robbie, is there a way to like mute my notifications?
Well, it's not a change.
Well, I'm gonna need to pull it up.
And you have to go to each one individually and get them.
Nope.
Like,
No,
That's okay.
just settings.
Really?
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. Here,
Oh, no, it's on your.
computer. It's
I can 17s.
okay. I guess we have time, huh?
Click on that three bar
Please.
settings, notifications. Go down. Mute it all. That, yeah.
well, this is for muting all notifications and then mute all the notifications.
Yes.
Then why are we?
So you can.
Because he likes to double do things.
There.
Thank you. Oh, wait, what? Mute notifications. Yes, okay. Yay, go team. Okay. 2 more minutes.
Christmas.
Allison. She's probably at the front. I was about to message her. Oh. Amy's the guardian of the door.
Both doors.
Mm-hmm.
She is trapped.
I was like, what are you doing?
Did you buy it like that or did you put it on there?
No, it came like that, and then there's stickers that you put on top as you go to those places. But I'm lame and I've gone to no places. For now. Okay, we ready? Okay. How is everybody? Okay,
Hi.
we've got some new faces, so let's go around and introduce ourselves. I know you love it. Tell me your major and your favorite color and why. And your name, obviously. And your pronouns. Go.
Adding a long list, girl. I
I
don't know.
forgot what you said, but I'm like, okay, also my name and
Your name. Okay.
I'm Sophia. I'm studying to be a pediatric registered nurse. Oh, I like red, because of blood.
That's morbid.
I like the little red because of blood and. Is there a reference?
Pronouns.
Oh, she. I would, for me, yeah, she would.
Orb.
I'm bored or Barbie. This job is really better. Barbie. I also was talking to. I'm majoring in electrical engineering. My pronouns are she, her, and my favorite color is green for nature. Like being out in the middle of the forest.
Nice.
My name's Ivy. She very into psychology. Favorite color blue because of Dutch.
Because of Dutch Bros? I love that.
That's fine.
Did they pay you to say that? Yeah. Mhm.
Allison, I am doing an elementary education. My pronouns are she and her, and I don't really have a favorite color. I like all the colors, especially the dark colors.
Oh,
I just like them all.
nice. It's a very elementary ed major. Favorite color.
My name is Kaylee. I'm a forensic and mortuary science major. My pronouns are she, her, and I like black because, it's in my soul. There we go.
I'm Lauren, doing nursing. My favorite colors, pink and sugar.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm Chloe, and I just wanted to tell you my favorite color is orange because I just like it.
No,
It's
let's
just
go.
bright.
I thought it was blue
I can't
kinda
say
thing.
that while I'm on campus
Why?
because.
Say it just to make them.
Okay. Well, anyways. Okay, we're gonna do our student training today. Does everybody have a computer and something to write with and on? Close enough. It's okay. We can do most things on our phone, or we can try. So, okay. So a lot of it's obviously pretty self-explanatory, but we're just gonna kind of reset some expectations and start fresh from here. Okay, so first, this is new, the Student Staff Hub. Has anybody poked around on this? Yes, okay. So anything that you need for your student staff position here in the office is going to be found here. And if it's not, then tell me and I'll put it there. But it should all be there. So to get to this, you're going to click on the teams. It turns purple. So you're going to click on the purple people. Will you do it right now, everybody? So I know you know how. Sims. It's very Kaylee core.
Dude, I looked at it, I spent almost 800 hours.
You there? Okay. Is it working?
I just like it.
Weird. Sometimes is it an iPad? Okay, yeah. Sometimes that might be but I know I added you to it. I have a vivid memory of that. Yeah. Okay. So we all know how to get to the Student Staff Hub, right? Okay. Anything from this training or that we talk about in the training is going to be there. So new rule, before you ask me where it is, we're going to look here and ask one other student staff before asking me or your supervisor. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so student safety, I didn't have a good place to put this in the rest of the like categories, so this is where it's going to go, and it's good to start off with anyways. So if you ever have a problem with a student, that doesn't happen often, but it is important to know if it does ever happen. Obviously, remove yourself from the situation and then go get their program staff, preferably their PD. Does everybody know what I mean by PD? Okay, so that's like the project director of whatever program it is. So Michael, Robbie, Amy, Nora. Well, there's a list later. But that's what, when we say PD, it's like the manager basically of the program. Okay. Yeah, director. Yeah. If you ever have a problem with a parent, so just know that under federal law, under FERPA, we can't tell them anything about their student unless they're listed on their proxy, which you don't have access to and you're not going to know. So a good rule of thumb is just to not say anything. And obviously that's kind of a hard conversation sometimes. So come get staff and we're more than welcome to facilitate that conversation for you. If you ever feel that it's just an icky situation, you could potentially be in some kind of safety concerning situation. We have this saying in the office called cup of ice. So you just say, hey, Barbie, can you get me a cup of ice? And that's Barbie's signal, like, hey, the vibes are off. I need to go get a supervisor and let them help with this conversation or situation or whatever's happening. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so we've got several topics that we're gonna go over. We're gonna do the trio actually, we're not gonna do history. There's gonna be a video I'm gonna have you watch afterwards. It's gonna go over that. We're gonna make sure that everybody has access to their student staff email. I'm gonna talk to you about the mandatory annual training that we all have to do. Kind of your daily expectations, everything that you should be checking every time that you clock in. Gonna make sure everybody is good with Paycom because she can be confusing. We're going to talk about office etiquette. We are not going to go over bookings, but I am going to have you sign a confidentiality agreement at the end. Okay. Okay, so again, we're not going to do, well, I'll tell you a little bit about trio. So without looking, what type of students do we serve? Do you guys know? First generation, low income. There's one more.
Disability.
Student with disabilities. Okay. Can anybody tell me what it means to be a first generation student? Right? First to go to college. What if your sister has a degree? Are you still first generation? Yes. What if your grandparents have a degree, but your parents don't? You're still first generation. If your parents got their degree in another country, you're still considered first generation. And if your parents got their degree after you turned 18, you're still first generation. So it can be kind of confusing, but I wanted to provide that clarification. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, that's what we are here to do is help undergrads get through their degree, right? Be their one-stop shop, anything that they need on campus to help them with and help them reach their academic goals. And you guys get to be part of that. So that's pretty cool. So you will hear us say TRIO or SSS, Student Support Services. We kind of use those interchangeably, but really TRIO is the overarching umbrella under which all these other programs fall. So have anybody been a part of any of these other programs that are on here other than Student Support Services? Upward Bound, what were you in? You're in McNair. Okay, so that's our research program, helps undergrads do some research. It's very cool. We have Upward Bound. You guys probably heard about that in high school. Or Talent Search. You hear Robbie talking about TRIO training all the time. McNair is a big one. A lot of our student support services participants are also in McNair. We also have EOC. We have our 6 programs, right? So a lot of you actually are my STEM girlies, Gen STEM. So that's obviously science, technology, engineering, and math majors. We have LaMeta, which is for people who English is not the language that's spoken at home or their first language. Strive is our OG program. They take any major. We have Salute, which is military veterans and their dependents, but it doesn't have to just be they were in the military. It can also be their like military associated family members or whatever. Teach, that's my program. We help ed majors. And then we have Team, which is for students with disabilities. One kind of cool thing about UCO Student Support Services is we're the only school in the nation that has all 6 of these programs. And so we're kind of like leading the way in terms of student support services for having all these programs, which again is really cool that you guys get to be a part of history in that way. So cool stuff. Okay. I wanted to take a second on this slide. So I'll tell you a funny story. Whenever I first started working here as a tutor, I didn't meet Ches until I had been working here for 3 months, and I didn't know who she was. And we got on the elevator together, and she was like, "Oh, hey, you're the new tutor, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, and who are you?" Not knowing that she is like my supervisor's supervisor. So I don't want that to happen to y'all. So yes, Ches is our senior director for student support services. We also have Mr. Barry Lofton. He's the executive director over the whole TRIO umbrella that I showed you a couple slides ago. And then we have Chia. He's in that office right there. And he's our data coordinator. And then has everybody met everyone around the office? Okay, so if you get confused about names, you can reference these slides, but I'm not going to go through everybody because I trust that you know most names by now. Okay, so moving on to your essay email. Does everybody have access to their essay email? Sometimes it's called SE, SW, SA. It basically just means your student staff email. UCO couldn't figure out what they wanted to call it, so I'll probably call it SA because that's what it was called whenever I was a tutor. But do you have access? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So this is one thing that I need you to be checking every day. And actually, I have a little slip that I made for you guys of things to check every day. I left it on my desk and have Danny grab it for me really quick. But yeah, so this email you will basically use for everything in the office. So communications from personal staff, logging into Teams, you use that same email and password. You have a calendar associated with that email and password. Excuse me. If your program uses bookings, it's also through that email, and then you can also use it to log into anywhere on campus. So it's very important. Can you bring it? Okay. Everybody good with SA emails? Checking them every day, every time we clock in? Yes? Okay. Okay, so mandatory annual training. So this is something that is a UCO rule that anybody who works on UCO's campus has to complete this. So I'm going to have you go ahead and pull it up. So if you log into your UConnect with your regular UCO. Yes. That's okay. That's totally okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna record these slides and you can watch the rest of them later. Yeah. Just give me a thumbs up when you've got your UConnect up. Okay. 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 Good. Got your UConnect pulled up? Okay, so there should be a card that says professional development and training. If you don't see it, scroll down to the bottom and then there's like a load more option and it'll be there. If you don't find it, let me know and I'll come look.
Well, it's there. Or does it say that you have 0% progress?
So you have to do it.
'Cause
Did
we
you do it in,
We did it in January.
was it through, did it look different? Yeah.
Do I have to do it all over again?
Yes, I'm sorry. I know. I didn't do it.
Is there a due date for that?
30 days from today. Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Do what? You see load more at the bottom? Okay. Oh, discover more, yeah. Yep. Once you find it, it's kind of easier to bookmark it, I think, in your wherever. Okay. So that's how you access the Learning Center. And if you need help later, Allison, I can show you. But yeah, so please send a screenshot that includes your name and then that you've completed all of the, I think there's like 3 modules, to your supervisor within 30 days of today. Okay?
Question, do your
Yes.
quizzes say they're complete at the bottom?
Yeah, everything except the
Except for
cybersecurity.
So I don't know if we have to do it again.
The cybersecurity one, they were working on it for a long time. So it's new. I don't think you've done it yet this year.
Cause like you had to sign up. for
Right.
it And then it never.
Right.
happened.
But the fact that these two say complete.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
How the flipping.
So you just have cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm. Please.
I was gonna cry.
Okay, moving on. Okay, we're gonna talk about your daily tasks. So some of the responsibilities that you probably have already done or will do is working the front desk, leading SSLO, that's kind of a newer part of it, recruitment, going on events or trips, and then knowing your UCO resources, because whenever you come in contact with a student, you never know when you're going to need those. Okay, so this is what I printed off for you, and I laminated it for you to put wherever you're going to see it and you're going to remember it. But every time that you clock in, these things need to be checked. So if I casually print this off and hand it to you again, that means you're probably not checking one of the things on the list and you needed a fun little reminder. So, Microsoft Teams, we talked about that. Everybody knows how to get into Teams, right? Okay. So this is how people are going to talk to you, how they're going to tell you things. Important to check. Your Microsoft calendar. We might send you something on your calendar that you need to know about. So make sure we're checking that every day. We have a new front desk schedule that I'll tell you about in a second, but making sure that there's no changes to that is important. We've talked about your SA email. If you do time and effort, some programs do, some programs don't, but that's important to look over as well. And then just keep a record of what you did that day at work. So because we're federally funded, we do have to keep some kind of record of that we're serving the students, that we're doing what, the grant asks of us, those kinds of things. So for our tutors, we have our post-appointment surveys, so just making sure that you're doing those every day. Or if you have like a bot where you fill out like, I help this student with financial aid, whatever it may be, taking notes so that you remember for next time you see that student, just taking a record. Okay, so working at the front desk. This semester we have started a new front desk schedule. Has everybody kind of seen it floating around? Okay. So when it's pretty self-explanatory, the times and the times that your name is on the schedule, you're expected to work the front desk. It'll always be posted on the whiteboard. I will get you a cutout as well. They're also up front, so it's everywhere for you to see. If you ever need it, it will also be posted in the Student Staff Hub. You're expected to remember when your shift is for upfront. So just kind of keep that. If you need to put it in your calendar, if you need to put it in a note on your phone, go ahead and do that. So this is what it looks like. So whoever is next on the schedule, please go ahead and tell them like, hey, I'm headed out for the day. Can you come work up front? So like Kaylee, you have one of the first shifts. So when you leave on Monday, you'll come get Barbie and or Sophia and be like, hey, I'm headed out. Can you come get my shift? That way there's just that open communication and we're making sure that the front desk is covered mostly at all times. If your schedule is going to change, obviously tell your supervisor, but also let me know so I can see if we need to make any changes to this. So you see that each time slot has 2 people. That's mostly because our tutors might have sessions that they have to go to. And so it's kind of just a good double check. If Barbie's in a session, that Sophie is going to be there to work the other desk. Does that make sense? We good?
You said you have this printed out.
Yes, you'll have it. It's also
It's
on Teams. Yeah, it is everywhere. Okay. So yeah, remember what slot you have. And then for study hall, that's some people work study hall, some people don't. That's a conversation to have with your supervisor. But yeah. Okay. This is who I have for study hall. Does this look right to everybody's schedule?
Is it too late for me to like that result?
That's a conversation to have with Robbie and Justin. Mm, 5 to 7, yes. You don't have to stay for the whole time though. But if you're not going to stay the whole time, I would let Justin know. And I think that's based off the hours that you told me. No? If it's not right, just let me know.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna do Mondays.
Okay, it's okay. We can take a look at it. Just remind me in a second. Okay, there is a QR code. If you're gonna be working study hall, I need you to go ahead and scan that QR code and join that group me, please. Is anybody in here on study hall? Are you already in the group me? I'm unique. Okay, good, good, good. Allison's gonna, what? It's kind of small. If you need to come up here, that's fine. So Justin supervises study hall, and so he'll be the kind of point of contact for that. He runs the group me. So that's who to talk to about all things study hall. I was calling it Control Alt Delete for a while, and so I just started calling it study hall so I would stop getting it wrong. Because it's not delete, it's repeat. Bye, Allison. Have a good one. Okay, so when we're working their front desk, there's some do's and don'ts. So just obviously we want to make sure that we are having respectful conversations, that we're not saying anything too polarizing. I definitely forget that sometimes sound carries in this office, so it's just one thing we all need a reminder on. So make sure that we're not using foul language. We want to make sure that we look busy because this is a job that you get paid to do. So making sure that you aren't doing things like playing video games or laying down. I understand sometimes you pull an all-nighter writing a paper that you forgot about, and you need a nap. I get that. There are bean bags outside. There are study rooms that you can reserve for a quick 30-minute power nap. I don't think anybody in this office is going to get upset with you if you say, hey, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna be gone for 30 minutes and be right back. But just don't be taking naps at the front desk. That is kind of the first point of contact that a lot of our students have with this office. And so we want to make sure that the environment up there is engaging and positive and bubbly and just somewhere that you would want to be. So try not to give the students the impression that they are bothering you or that they're interrupting your homework. And we also don't want to have students sitting up there for long periods of time. So if they're up there for more than 2 minutes, check in with them or check in with whoever they're here to see to make sure like everything's okay. We don't want them waiting up there for 30 minutes and suddenly their appointment has gone and we don't know what happened. They fell through the cracks kind of thing. As far as the phones go, obviously we want to answer that professionally. I always say kind of answer it with a smile on your face just because it's something like you can hear in the inflection of your voice if you're smiling or if you're like miserable up there. So, and then also avoid making, there's going to be 2 of you up there. So avoid just one person being the sole responsible one for all of the calls. Nobody likes to be the only one who ever answers the phone. So the other one got fixed last week. So they should both ring and work. Thank you. Let's see. Any questions on do's and don'ts of the front desk? You got one. Okay. Okay, so here's a little YouTube short on how to transfer the phones. If you need some guidance, I'm going to let you refer to that in the slides. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm also happy to show you at any time. You press the transfer button and you type in the extension. You guys got this. Yes.
Transfer number.
Yes.
Like the last semester, it took me a while. I was just like click on like transfer and then like hello. And I was thinking, I'm like, oh.
And the giant list of the transfer numbers. right beside
Yes.
them.
Yes. And if you get confused about the list, just ask your supervisor. They're happy to go over it with you as well. So, if you ever need cleaning supplies, just go to the 2nd floor and ask Deshawn or Rocio for the cleaning supplies. That's what Deshawn looks like. That way you have like a point of reference on who you're looking for that. Okay. So I made it to where they were supposed to go step by step, but clearly that didn't really work too well. So when a student comes in, we're going to talk about if they have an appointment versus if they don't have an appointment and how to handle that. So obviously greet the student. How's your day? Happy, bubbly, all the things. Asking if they have a scheduled appointment, that's a really like central question. So if they do, obviously get some more clarifying information, ask their name, who their appointment is with. Then you'll message whoever they're here for on Teams to see if they're available. But don't stop there. That's how people fall through the cracks. You want to make sure that the staff member either looks at the message or replies to you within, it says within 5 minutes. I would feel more comfortable if it's within like 2 minutes. So when you message somebody on Teams and they read it, there's a little eyeball icon that pops up next to it. So that's how you can tell if they've seen it or not. But if the 2 or 5 minutes passes and you haven't heard anything back from them, go back and check with them. Make sure, 1, that they're at their desk, 2, that they saw your message, and see if there's anything else that needs to be done for that student. If you can't find whoever they're here for, then go to the next person up. So if they're here for Justin, I would ask Charlie would be the next person to go to. Or someone who sits in their general vicinity is typically a good bet too. So again, the goal is to not have students waiting for long periods of time up front. Sometimes they get here early and they know that, and it'll be a 15-minute wait. I understand that, but you know. Okay. So if they don't have an appointment, get again some clarifying questions. Who would you like to meet with? What's your major? What do you need help with? Those kinds of things. And then, so let's say they come in and they're an elementary ed major. You can message me and see if I'm available. If I'm not available, then the best thing to do would have them use the iPad to schedule an appointment up front. Does everybody know how to do that? Yes.
Would not that particular question.
Yes.
But, so like if you are unavailable, do we
Uh-huh.
also ask Amy, or is she like, do we have a set list of like people, like, okay, ask these people per program and not these people?
I
like,
would say per
Justin,
program.
Not Charlie.
Right. But if they specifically say like, I need Chloe, then I think scheduling an appointment is probably the best bet. Would you agree? Okay. Okay.
I think it's always good just to say, even if they're here for Chloe and she isn't there for whatever reason and may not be there, always offer them if there's another available staff member. Because it might be something very simple.
Right.
So message her, then you, if she's not available, then tell them to do an appointment. So be.
So I just need to look at the slides and look at everyone, because I still don't know like everyone, what they do.
Yes, that will come. It won't take you more than a couple weeks and you'll get that down, but the slides will help you a lot as well. So you got this. Okay. Okay, so moving on to SSLO meetings. Can anybody tell me what SSLO stands for?
Student support services leadership.
Okay, good. So this is written into our grant. This is something that we are required to do, but also happy to do because it's fun. This is the fun part of your job. So we expect you to play an active role and attend all SSLO meetings or events that happen while you're normally on the clock. So that's helping with planning, preparing, setup, cleanup, any of those different things. And you're not going to do it alone, right? It's with everybody who is in the office. And so you're never going to be doing it all on your own, which is good. We will do a doodle poll in just a second to figure out when everybody is available to meet. So we'll do bi-weekly meetings. And that's just planning meetings, essentially. What events do we want to do? How are we going to make that happen? Logistics, all that good kind of stuff. So, good. Questions about SSLO at all? Okay, so Shaylease is our current vice president. I wanted you guys to have some faces and names. Danielle is our president. Ches is our financial manager, and then Alexis is the current staff advisor for SSLO. So these are your kind of point people, the ones that will be leading the leadership organization for the most part. Okay, so one other thing that we might ask you to do is recruitment. How did you guys find out about SSS? Through a friend. What about you?
Michael dragged me in here.
You were a tutor first, right?
And now I signed up with DSS, and all of a sudden I had emails from Robbie and Michael telling me to come on over. And I thought it was DSS asked me for a meeting, but no, they
Yeah.
conned me into it.
That's
I'm glad. That's
good to say.
But no, they conned me.
What about you? I'm unique. How'd you find out about SS? Really? That's funny. We had magnets. We need magnets again.
So I lived in,
Uh-huh.
and there's just
Oh.
With one whole magnet.
There wasn't.
Glad we're still on.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Kaylee?
I was about to quit, like, trying for college, and then this was like my last resort. It's
Oh,
like, my cousin told me, like, try the student support services, if it doesn't work, give up. And then Adrian made me stay, so.
he did make you stay.
He did.
I was
Now I'm
witness.
staying, but it's-
I am too. I saw that day, I was like,
it's slightly-
I was mad at Robbie.
Dude, I'm big.
But then he came back.
But like, I need help. I didn't know.
you told me that, so I was like, you laughed, I was like, so barely.
He did
I
an
leave for a
intake
singular.
for team. He used to do team, and then he left.
The day you did your intake, he said, Chloe, you would love the girl I just did an intake with. What about you, Lauren? How'd you hear about our job?
Coming a tutor. Just
Really?
for jobs, yeah.
Were you just like looking online or whatever? Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so one way none of y'all were from tabling. That's crazy. So tabling is basically we set up a table and we sit there and we talk to students and we help try to get them into our program. Who has tabled before for SS? I think you have at MBO.
I'm wondering,
I think you have.
I've tabled some events.
Yeah.
Are you talking specifically the student involvement fair?
That would work,
I've not
yes.
done that, but I've done a bunch of other tables.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you've tabled. Okay, so basically, we're trying to get students into our program, right? And so you guys already kind of told me our eligibility criteria. You might hear it called LI, that means low income. So I feel like the best way to explain this is if you get Pell, that's a good indicator that they may qualify. We'll talk about this in a second, but I would never tell them for sure, like, hey, yes, you qualify, or talk in certainties. But it's a good indicator that we should look more into their file and see if they can join our program. First generation, we talked about all of those caveats there. Student support services, or what? Students with disabilities. So that can be self-disclosed. That can be something that they may not necessarily have, accommodations through DSS with. But they might have accommodations through DSS that can count as well. This says ILP in high school. It's supposed to say IEP. So if they had any kind of like learning plan in high school, that's something that counts towards the eligibility criteria for our program. So it's just important to know your audience whenever you're talking to them, because if you're talking to high school students, they do technically have to be enrolled before they can be in our program. So it's kind of more of just like, hey, when you get enrolled, you should come see us kind of thing. But yeah, so how we approach high schoolers versus current students is obviously going to be very different in that regard. Does that make sense?
Okay, so for instance.
Yes.
So I talked to Robbie about it and he told me Jenston doesn't want incoming freshmen.
Uh-huh.
Does other people want that too, or is it just?
It's program to program, so that would be a conversation to have with Robbie, for sure.
Like he says now, but I'm like, your program different or is it?
Yes, so I would,
Like someone.
yes,
Education, like.
Yeah.
Deep into education also.
So it depends, like. It's not that we're gonna turn away freshmen.
Right.
Freshmen are interested in Gen Ed. We're just gonna watch them more closely.
Mhm.
That's just gonna be the difference between maybe our program versus some of the other programs with different majors. We're tracking each student individually and what their progress is. That's why we put them, that's why we have the ILP. We want to see what their goals are. Are they actively working towards their goals? Can they intervene obstacles as they come across? Are they going to reach out? Are they going to be assistance? Are they that dedicated to their signature, or are they, doing what mom and dad want them to do per se? So we're looking at a number of factors when it comes to retaining students in general. So it's different. I mean, all you really need to be concerned with is, are they first generation? Do they receive the program? Those are the top two questions we would ask. to
Yeah.
Really help determine most eligibility on the basis. And if they're unsure, or they don't know, or like, I think I should qualify for Pell, you know, we keep referring them to our way. Anyway, we'll worry about program technicalities.
Right.
As a program, just being like, well, that's a me and Nora, the Cheyenne conversation for the most part. But who was doing. That said, nursing, if they're a freshman nursing, not the program, like, let's try to get them somewhere around here, whether it's with us, or whether it's with Strive. So that's the one major that I'm really looking at intently.
When in doubt, there's gonna be a general flyer with a QR code, give them that, and then let us do the designations from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, also, is there like is there like a place for the undecided linguists?
Yes, so our original program is Strive and they take all
So, like,
majors.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's like I like over the summer, like the first term from here, it's like,
Yeah,
I was just like.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
but there's that general QR code. I feel like that's the best place to send. Yeah. General people. Okay, so when you table, there's a bin right down there. It's a clear bin at the bottom of the bookcase. And you'll take that with you. It's got a tablecloth. There's some S's for you to put up and some flyers and stuff like that. So make sure to take the tabling box. Make sure to fold the tablecloth back. Otherwise, Robbie will come haunt you. He's very passionate about the tablecloth being folded. So, so some of the things to make sure that you hit on that are kind of big ticket items for potential students are that we offer free tutoring. That's a big one. The grad school trips, that's really fun because it's essentially free travel and an opportunity to investigate future academic careers. Helping with FAFSA, that's a very big daunting thing, especially to a lot of first generation students who maybe have never done taxes in their life and they don't know what the words on the FAFSA even mean. So that's a big one. We can help get them enrolled. Obviously, they do have to have completed at least one semester or get enrolled before they can be in our program. But talking about next semester and, doing like degree plans with them, that kind of thing, we can help with that. I think the best and easiest way to explain it is just saying that we are a one-stop shop for anything that they might need on campus, any questions that they might have. But we're also use this as you need us. You guys know this. We try to be pretty low key, to where you don't feel like it's a burden to be in SSS. We want to be a support system and not take away time from your already busy schedules. We do offer grant aid, but I wouldn't hit on that when you're tabling just because sometimes students can get the wrong idea and think that we will fix all of their money problems, which is just not the reality. As much as we would love to do that, it's just not the reality of how we can use our grant funds. And so I kind of shy away from the money conversation. If they specifically ask you, you can say, if you're eligible for scholarships, we have some grant aid available. I feel like that would be the best way to phrase that. You just don't want to promise them something that we don't really know just from having one conversation if they're actually eligible for. So, okay. So there's some do's and don'ts. We'll talk about why we recruit and then I'll do our do's and don'ts. Excuse me. So, I don't know if you guys know this, it's not something that we really talk about with our student staff that often, but we do have, a certain amount of funded to serve students. So basically that's how many students can we have in our program. And it's important that we reach these numbers so that we can continue to get refunded and continue to help students. And so you can kind of see the breakdown of what program and how many students are in the program, how many we have to recruit. And so that's kind of why we have you get students into our program, is because we need that so we can continue helping you guys. But yeah, so things like tabling, student involvement fair, we've talked about. There's a lot of word of mouth. I heard about SSS from my friend, different things like that. Sometimes we'll talk in some of those entry level courses. So for us, it's like Foundations of American Education or Intro to the Professional Teacher Education Program, or even Blueprint classes. Or just being like generally present in different events on campus. So we went to the Transfer Teacher Academy. One of our new tutors, Adela, that's where she was. And so that's how we got her into our program. And now she's a tutor. So yeah. So some do's and don'ts. I would start by asking if they're first generation and then kind of let that guide the conversation. Because what you don't want to do is overwhelm them with information, even especially if they're not eligible for the program. And so I kind of feel them out, and just kind of see like, okay, are they eligible? And then you can still tell them about the program, but maybe keep it a little more general. So, oh, we're a support system for students. We help first generation. Here's some more information, and then kind of guide them on their way to the next table. But if you are getting the indication that they are eligible, they get Pell, they are first generation, those different kinds of things, then obviously you can have that conversation be a little bit more drawn out. You can go through those services that we talked about, and those different kinds of things. Again, don't talk uncertainties. Don't say that we can't help them if they're not first generation. Because again, the reality is there's lots of different things that go into whether or not they're eligible. Refer to the QR code. Try not to talk over your co-tabler. Sometimes, especially in MBO, it can get really loud. And so you kind of have to like step away from each other so you're not talking over each other a little bit. But yeah, and also try not to hog the conversation. So it is a group effort whenever we're doing tabling. So let your other person jump in as well, or encourage it, because some people are a little shy, but it is a good skill to have, talking to people. You are welcome to put like a water bottle and your computer up on the table, but just don't clutter it with a bunch of stuff that's going to detract from the reason that we're there. As far as phones go, I understand sometimes we have to check one or two things, but just don't be openly doom scrolling, because then it looks like you don't want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, they don't want to talk to you and they don't want to be in our program. So just no doom scrolling, please. Bye, Barb. Yeah, and then just be engaging. So again, they're probably nervous, whatever event that they're at. So kind of saying, things like, hey, I like your shirt, or what's your major? That's really cool. How did you get into that? Just be engaging, and be somebody that you would want to talk to. We good? Anything to add? You're the tabling king.
Yeah, the don't talk too much, it really comes from me, I'm the king of supplying necessary information.
Mhm.
So that question, I'm starting with the first generation, let that completely guide the conversation. If they're not first generation, just guide them the QR code, say generally speaking, like we provide services that are primarily first generation students, but if you're not qualified, if you have any questions about like FAFSA or financial aid or whatever, you can always reach out and ask. That's it. They are first generation, that's when you go a little bit more in depth. Focus on the fun stuff, focus on, think about your experience in SSS and some of the things you've been to, what you've attended. Graduate school visits, financial literacy workshops where you can win $500, like, and like, if that's your ticket to know, then
Right.
yeah. Talk about access to additional things.
Yeah.
So like that money, like the fun trips. Because when they're at the tabling, they're getting a whole bunch of information.
Right.
The most important thing is remember to point out that flyer, that QR code.
Yeah.
And try to encourage them to do it right then and there. Otherwise, they will forget. And then they may not see that. But that's mainly like as we go. So if you do volunteer or you work with New Bronco orientation at all, probably well versed in what that program is about. But other tablings, like other programs specifically, if we're having a harder time reaching numbers this year, then a lot of students or programs might set tables up in like January or February, just to really get that going. Right now, it's the heavy recruitment season.
Yeah.
For a lot of programs, you're getting students in, because everyone wants to be involved right now.
Yep.
And then students later in semester.
Yeah.
That's really comprehensive on tabling. I have gotten up to students for table talk, that's why that's in there, so.
Yep. I'm protecting you.
So, other than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're nervous for all of this, tabling is awkward.
Yeah.
So, you just push past and talk about, speak from your experience, you don't have to cover everything.
Okay, so we also do events around the office. So these are things like orientation light, finance central, graduate school trip. Sophia's been on like, how many grad trips have you been on with us? Like 5?
I think 3.
3.
Like I went to go to Chicago wedding though.
Oh, UNT, right? this summer?
No, I didn't go.
No?
That was actually good.
I went last,
You went to New Mexico?
the last one, I went to New Mexico and Colorado.
And Arkansas.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. It's not playing this summer.
I swear you were at UNT.
really?
Womp womp.
Well, you were thinking of wrong. No.
We also go to some conferences. So this is Teach did this a lot over the summer. So we went to like the Oklahoma Science Teaching Association conference, or we went to a Not Your Average conference that was over in the night, and so different things like that. And then obviously the events that we do with SSLO. So if you are on the clock when the setup or the actual event is happening or the tear down, we do expect you to help with that. If so, like orientation is from 10 to 2. If you have class at 12, you're obviously not going to miss class to work orientation. You're going to leave to go to class in the middle of orientation. That's the expectation. We're totally cool with that. So, questions on that slide? Okay. I've got some pictures. I need some pictures of orientation, but here's Finance Central. What?
So, no.
I thought you've been.
I did like, I don't think I've been.
Maybe not.
Is there like a calendar that has all these events and stuff on?
So,
Is that the Microsoft calendar?
yes,
Robbie, do you have one set? Did you show
I've
me?
already sent you a calendar. But it's-
we can look at it.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
So that is on your list of things to check every day. So now you know.
So I was like,
And
wait,
you can- so Finance Central, it's going to be in the Liberal Arts Auditorium. This was whenever it was in Constitution Hall. But it's a help me words, financial literacy training essentially, and there is opportunities to win $500 scholarships. You get a free shirt, you get snackies. When you go, check with your supervisor, but if you're one of my direct reports, you obviously are welcome to attend that while you're on the clock. So, and you should enter into the raffle and get a free t-shirt. So that's Finance Central. Orientation is just our resource fair. Takes like 15 minutes to walk through. It's really worth going because you get free food and raffle prizes most of the time. So that's a good one too. Orientation is on September 17th. You should have a calendar invite about that. Finance Central is the 26th.
Those on Tuesdays.
Finance Central will be in your calendar. It's the 20 something of this month. So 24th. Okay. Graduate school trips. It's a lot of fun. We've got a bunch of UNT. I think there's a Chicago in there, and then Colorado. That's my favorite picture on the end. We got some conference pictures, and then we've got our clay day with SSLO, painting, different things that we do with SSLO. So as far as trips go, that is another really fun perk of your job. So unfortunately, if you're not in one of the SSS programs, you can't go with us to any type of travel. Sorry, Lauren, womp womp. As much as we would love to have you. But kind of the expectation is if you're available to go on these trips, we do want you to make the most effort that you can to go, and kind of be a leader once on the trip. As far as pay goes, that's something to discuss with your personal supervisor about whether or not you're going to be clocking in while on the grad trips or kind of what that looks like. I would encourage you to meet with your supervisor prior to the trip to discuss expectations, what it looks like to be a leader on these trips, what it looks like to be student staff. Yeah, and just make sure to cover anything that might happen during the trip. Yeah.
They told me I can't go on the field trips and then trips.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So that's that whole effect of that as well.
So that would be something to talk with Justin about, but I do know that that is a rule that you can't like double dip essentially. So, but Justin and Charlie will know more about like the specifics of how to go about that. So, yeah. Okay. Do's and don'ts. I need you to follow the rules, please, smiley face.
She looked at me
Um,
when you said that.
I looked at everyone, not just Kaylee. So reviewing the packing list and the expectations, making sure that we're following those things, because again, we want you to be a leader whenever you're on these trips. And so that starts paramount with the rules. So don't do any of the prohibited activities. Dress professionally. We'll talk about dress code in a second. But if you are on the clock, then you need to be dressing like you would in the office. So bring a good attitude. Don't be a Debbie Downer. That is the biggest thing, especially when we go places like Texas in the summer where it's hot, or we're doing a lot of walking, or people are exhausted because they stayed up playing Uno all night. I need y'all to make sure that you are leading with a good, positive attitude, and that way it'll spread to the rest of the students. Don't bring messy energy, Robbie. Be 15 minutes early and prepared if you can. Again, that's just, guiding the rest of the students in the right direction, being prepared, having your stuff together. If you notice that somebody is having a harder time bonding, it happens. If they kind of are hanging out by themselves, lone wolf kind of thing, do your best to kind of bring them into your group, and make them feel included. Don't be a mean girl. If there is an unsafe situation with the student, definitely make sure to alert professional staff members. Don't take it into your own hands. If there's any kind of like concerning situation, I would say if you cannot engage with it, don't. And just leave it to us. And because we have training on how to handle situations, and conversations like that. So, yay? Trips. Okay. So there's a PowerPoint over your UCO resources. It's in the Student Staff Hub. It's kind of long, but I do want you guys to go through it after this and just make sure that you know about all your resources on campus. And if you have any questions, obviously, we are happy to answer anything that might come up. And it looks like that. So you'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it in the Student Staff Hub. Okay, Paycom. Does everybody have access to Paycom? Does everybody understand how to navigate Paycom? Does everybody know how to submit a punch change request? No? Okay, we're gonna go over it then. So the easiest way to get to Paycom is employee.uco.edu. You might end up seeing my stuff, but it's fine. What was I showing you? Punch change request. Okay, so you're gonna go to time management, web timesheet read only, and this will show you all of your punches for the pay period, which is like 2 weeks at a time. And so like for you, you're gonna have an end time, it'll be like red or blue, and it'll be underlined. So that's your key that you can click on that and change it. And so like, let's say you clocked in 20 minutes late because you forgot or because the Wi-Fi wouldn't connect. So you can come in here and you can click on it. We'll say it says 8:20, right? Whatever. You can click on it, change it to 8 o'clock, and then it'll ping to Robbie. Robbie will accept it, and then it'll reflect that on your thing. So this is the best place, the easiest place, I think, to go to change that stuff. So, okay.
You've been really good about blocking it out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only one
Match
time.
and change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only one time there was an issue about like.
It's usually the Wi-Fi is the
Yeah.
issue, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna skip past Paycom. That's how to clock in, how to do a punch. Okay, so if you need screenshots about how to do a punch change request, it's in the slides. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so regarding clocking out, some things that are program to program are, do you have to clock out for lunch? How long is your lunch going to be? Can you work through your lunch? Again, we talked about, can you be on the clock for grad trips or cultural trips? And yeah, so make sure that you are having that conversation with your supervisor and not assuming. So, and we'll talk about that in a second. Good with clocking out Paycom stuff? Okay. Here's the schedule of when you get paid and what time periods it's for. You get paid bi-weekly. It's also in the student staff hub, so you can look there if you ever need to know. This is new. That I literally found out about this morning. So, HR is asking you guys to approve your time cards. And so you need to make sure to keep up with what day that is. And so you just go in and then there's a button that says approve time card. So you're just looking over your times, making sure it looks right and pressing a button. That's all that you do. So today I will make a calendar reminder for everybody and I'll send it out to everyone so that you remember to check your time card.
You didn't have to do that before.
No, did you?
Yeah.
Like I do that stuff.
For. Advocacy, we always had to do it, Monday morning before 12, now they pushed it back before 5.
Every Monday or every other
Every
Monday?
other Monday.
Okay.
When, before the next period starts.
Yeah.
See, I never knew employees had to do.
No.
credit for their own time
Me
card.
neither.
I thought it was just surprises.
Us.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I was taught, well, so. It's just one of those things that slip through the cracks.
But if you ever have questions about it, you can email James or call him. He was a tutor here for a couple years, so we love James. Questions? Okay, I'll send out the calendar invite. Office etiquette. Okay, so we're going to talk about dress code. I'm not going to go over email etiquette. There's a PowerPoint in there if you guys want to go over that. We'll talk about our different Teams chats that we have, etiquette there. We've talked about respectful communication. I might gloss over that one. Keeping your workplace clean so Chloe doesn't have a minty bee, please. Being on time, cell phone etiquette, being part of a team. In this office, we are personal, but we do our best to stay professional. And then don't come to work sick. Okay, so dress code. This is from our executive trio director, Mr. Lofton. And so this came out just a couple weeks ago. So make sure to read the exception column carefully because that's where a lot of the student employee guidance is. As far as jeans go, you can wear jeans, just make sure that there's not excessive holes in them. As far as ball caps and covers, it looks like for religious purposes or cultural traditions, that's allowed. I'm gonna get to the big ones. Okay, so basically be modest, able to sit comfortably in public, no athletic wear in the office. So this is kind of where leggings come in. So there's a difference between like, I would say like professional acceptable leggings and athletic leggings. And that's, can you see stitching on the outside of the leg? If they're stitching on the outside of the leg, they're technically considered athletic wear and are not appropriate to wear in the office. Okay. And there's that designation on the side there. Leggings, shorts, that's supervisor approval. As far as my direct reports, I'm gonna say at least down to your knee, pretty please, when we're in the office. Anything with writing on it, I would try to avoid when you're in the office. And then tank top, spaghetti straps, you can wear that, but make sure that you have something to cover it up. T-shirts are always okay, especially UCO. But specifically in our office, we want to avoid other university apparel when in the office.
Or anything that could be like, so.
Yes.
And any kind of.
Yes. So. Okay. Questions about dress code?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have one thing I just wanted to throw out there. So Chloe she joined one of our programs and then you started working as a tutor.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then I switched to Robbie's grad assistant. No, wait, yeah, yes.
You graduated, you started graduate school.
Yes.
You became a graduate assistant, and then. Adrian
You're
was certified
part-time.
Coach, so.
Yeah.
Became a part-time coach. for
Yeah.
finances now.
Right.
And then.
Move to team. Teach.
So what I was gonna tell you all about her little adventures here in student sports services is one of the main reasons I had so much confidence in her being an academic coordinator for my program is because I had several years of observation of watching her office etiquette, watching how she carried herself, watching how she interacted with other students and staff and stuff. And so that's one of the primary reasons why she went from $10 an hour to a professional staff position with insurance, paid time off, blah, blah, blah. So people are watching here, always.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Dress code. Okay, email etiquette. You guys are pretty far in your academic career. So if you need some refreshers on email, this is again in the Student Staff Hub. As far as our Microsoft Teams, you probably have been added to about 12 million chats, and it can get confusing what they're for. So I wanted to give you guys a rundown really quick. So the trio all staff, remember the umbrella that we saw earlier? So that's everybody that's works for a trio program at this university. So if you're going to post in that, just know that potentially even our executive trio director could see whatever is going to go there.
That's pretty much for general announcements that are pertinent to most of the time professional staff.
Yeah.
And things related that are not SSS specific per se,
Yeah.
but maybe more of the global
General.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I think generally speaking, that's probably not a place you will do much of any posting.
Right.
In that particular one. But it is there, and there is some, you'll kind of like keep up with it. But
Right.
it's not your most common one. that you
Yeah.
utilize.
Sometimes it'll be like free hot dogs at ESS, and as student staff, that you count, you get the free hot dog. So it is worth checking those. Yeah.
Resources, legislation updates,
Yes.
those are gonna have things also.
Okay, so there's the all SSS program chat. So if you want all SSS, everybody basically in this office and then in the Vet Hero Center to know about it, that's where to post that. If you need some ibuprofen, ask there, you know?
It's a good place for questions.
Yeah.
Like if you have an immediate need, if you're with a student and
Right.
you have a question you can't answer, you can put that in there, and there's always someone
Mhm.
on there that.
Yeah.
can help you.
The donut hole is for when you're in a silly, goofy mood. If you found a good meme that you want to share, if you found a reel that you think is funny, obviously keep it appropriate, but that's what the donut hole is for, is kind of that little bit of goofing off time. You likely will have, as program assistants, you'll have a program chat for you. We have our tutor chat. And so that's like specifically for your team, your program. If you are going to be late or you had a student interaction or some kind of question that's specific to Stride, GenStem, whatever, that's where that would go. We talked about the tutor chat. Michael has this thing about gifts that I feel is imperative to tell you about. He wants you to send him all of the gifts all of the time. When you find out about it, you'll find out. Please don't post them in the donut hole so that my phone gets blown up. Just send them to Michael in a direct Teams message. Good.
I goes without saying, don't post it unless you want everybody and their dog to see it.
Right.
Particularly, it's super easy to accidentally post something in the wrong chat.
Mm-hmm.
And you for sure don't want to have the double whammy of not only did you post something in the wrong chat, but it puts you in a very negative light.
If you do, like, one time I put here in the trio instead of the teach because they both start with T. And I was like, oh, not all of every professional in trio needs to know that I just got to the office. So there's an edit button. So you can go in and edit it and be like, wrong chat, whatever.
I think I told Chloe I loved her one time. Accident. Not my husband, but
I
whatever.
was like, oh, thanks, Amy. I love you too.
You didn't say it to the same point in time. It's
Yeah.
just sweet. Yeah. IT can see all of
Yeah.
your messages for the entire time of your employment. So if there's anything you want to say to somebody else in the office and you don't have their phone number, get their phone number, and that's how you can figure that out. Because if you know you don't want it on your HR record, don't put it in Teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good with Teams? Just use common sense. So we have our new student staff chat. So this is kind of new, our expectations. When you come into the office, whenever you clock in, I need you to also say that you're here in the chat. That comes from a safety standpoint. If something happens, there's an emergency in the building, I need to have one place that I can go and be like, who do I need to make sure that they get out of the library, are accounted for, whatever. So yeah, you can post a GIF, you can just say here, whatever you want. Same for when you leave. Again, safety so that I'm not looking for you. Okay?
So do you want it at 5 p.m. too? Is that we're like
So like
between the working hours, we leave the office.
when you leave the library. So like if you're gonna work study hall, I want to know when you leave study hall. So if it's like 6:53 p.m., you'll
I'm
put
like,
here.
I leave at 5 and I just normally just stay in the library and study.
Oh, well, then you can leave
Just
it,
like,
yes.
just say,
Yeah, whenever you're clocking out.
Think of it like
Yeah.
this. Clock in, post in.
Yes.
Clock out, post out.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
My students, like staff chat, it's for my UCO email, like it's not showing up in my.
Okay, I'll add you to it. I think that's from when it wasn't working. but
Yeah, so I think it just went to that
Didn't,
one.
yeah. If there's a chat that goes out to everyone, important announcements for student staff are going to be there. And so that is probably one of the most important chats that you're going to be checking. And so just give a thumbs up to say that you saw the message, you've done whatever, if there was something that needed to be done, whether it was a sign up or whatever. Give me a thumbs up so that we know that you saw it. Okay. Again, that's where a lot of like the important things are going to get posted. So make sure that you're reading those thoroughly. Yeah, because that's going to be me if you ask me a question that was in the student staff chat. So, okay, good with that? Okay. So again, make sure that we're keeping conversations appropriate, whether it's up front or in the common area. Avoid having any, foul language competitions. And ultimately, this is a place of business. At any time, Mr. Lofton could walk through the door, President Lamb could walk through the door, and so we want to make sure that we're presenting ourselves again in a positive light. I know that sometimes we have big feelings and big opinions, but let's kind of avoid talking about them in the office. If you need to talk, I love to yap, and so we can go outside and we can get whatever it is that you need off of your chest. But just be aware of those around you and that not everybody may agree with your opinion. So, and that's kind of just a good rule of thumb for any professional career. And so we kind of want to start practicing those things here in a safe space. Yeah. Okay. Keep your workplace clean, please, because I will have a come apart. So making sure that we're keeping things organized, that there's not a bunch of trash on the desk, things are straight. Don't make me go off. Okay. If you ever need Clorox wipes, you can guarantee I have them, and I will gladly let you use them. So, okay. Obviously be on time. Again, this is a professional setting, so we try to make this a environment where you feel comfortable, but it is still important to, again, practice those good habits of being on time. If you're struggling with your schedule, Lord knows I struggle getting here at 8 a.m. So have a conversation with your supervisor and see how we can adjust that to set you up for better success. Or different tactics we can use. Maybe you need an alarm clock instead of your phone, whatever it is. Maybe you just need an outside perspective. Yeah. Also, whenever you are posting in the student staff chat, please make sure that your Paycom timesheet reflects that, because I would hate to have you tell me that you're here at 8:30, but your time card says you were here at 8. That's not a good look. And if you're one of my direct reports, I do look at stuff like that. So be on time. Things happen, obviously, if anybody knows that, it's me. But just try not to make a habit of it. Okay. So obviously we have a lot of downtime in the office as student staff. And so scrolling on your phone, probably not the best look. Sometimes if you got to check it, or if you're, whatever that may be, just make sure that you're not openly doom scrolling. And that you're looking busy. We've kind of talked about this, right? If you need to take a phone call, again, sound carries. I would step out into the pink chair area. It's kind of what we call it. As far as AirPods go, I, for one, am fine if you have one in, but just make sure that you have a free ear so that if we need to get your attention, we can get your attention. Try to be discreet. Again, you never know who's watching.
I guess so. I'm just gonna response.
Do what?
So no response. I know.
Oh, your headphones? Yeah, but I would just like keep an ear out, you know?
I
Especially.
tend to kind of zone out, so I'm like, we don't live in my face. Like, I just
Yeah.
works for me better.
Throughout the front desk, definitely one ear.
Yes, for sure. You know, we don't have a strict cell phone protocol in this office, and that's kind of a privilege. And so we don't want to abuse that and have to have consequences. So, okay. So the personal but professional, be demure, be cutesy, be mindful. So again, just be inconspicuous. If you want to read, just don't do it in a way that is obvious that you are reading. Same with crochet. If you want to yap with Robbie, be inconspicuous. Loud conversations on your phone. Go outside if it's going to be really loud. Otherwise, somebody's probably going to glare at you on the third floor because it's technically a quiet space. Playing video games. Please don't do that in the office unless we're specifically doing a video game event. No cussing contests. Obviously, please do your homework. That is the number one thing to do while you're on the clock. Eating lunch. While you're on the clock, again, talk with your staff about that, but I don't mind. But please don't smack your food. Tee hee ha ha. Doing something else when professional staff asked you to do a task. Girl, no. Do that thing that they asked you to do before you goof off, please. Distracting people. I know that that's hard to not do, but just try to be aware of like the responsibilities of the people around you and if they're being distracted from those. Okay. Leaving the office unannounced. So if you want to take a walk, we get that. We do that all the time. I've got 2 golden retrievers in the back that love their little walkies. So that's obviously fine, but just make sure that somebody knows, again, for safety. If somebody is setting up for a event or something like that, obviously help them. That's just good being a people skill. Okay, good. I think we're almost done. Don't come to work sick. Your health, both mental and physical, are number one to us. That's our big thing in this office. We care about you as a person, not just a student, not just a student staff. You can't be the best version of yourself if you're sick. We all have tough days. Just have open communication with us about it. I don't want to get sick. Please don't make me sick. Don't feel guilty if you have to take a sick day. Okay. I think, okay, we have our student staff schedule. We talked about this. She's loading. Does this look right for everybody? The hours that I have for you up here. You're not going to be up here. You're going to be on the tutor schedule.
I'll probably be.
No?
We'll
Okay.
have a discussion about these hours.
Yeah.
Understand.
Okay. Just send them to me.
Yeah.
And then,
Justin took them off Tuesday and Thursday. My mom was
oh,
worker.
Audrey?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you send me that on Teams so I can update it? Pretty please. There's also a link that if it changes in the middle of the semester, I'm unique, you can go on here and change this as well. It's on the student staff hub. So. Okay, moving on. Bookings, we're not going to go over that, but we are going to, this is to schedule our meetings. So we're going to do a bi-weekly SSLO meeting, and we're also, that's going to serve as our check-in for all student staff. If you have a question, concern, whatever, we'll air it out then. So if you'll go ahead and scan that QR code for me, please. And pick your times. It might be easier to do on your computer. So if you want to click on the link in the slides, it's there. Yes.
Well, they can go get a couple of things for the first class.
Okay,
You go in one. I just think it's just me,
okay.
which is fine, but.
If I get out on time, I will meet you there. So it says dates, but just know that it's really the day and time that is most important. Because it'll be bi-weekly.
Why like using that to speak?
What?
I use a different thing, it's not digital. For this.
Well, now you tell me. Lauren, whatever times and days you select, I'm also gonna use to pick us a tutor meeting time.
So you're sleep on multiple options.
Yeah, so you can say like ones that work, and then there's like an option for tentative, basically. It's like a yellow check.
And this is like mostly just 1 hour.
Yeah. I don't think we should ever have an SSL meeting that goes longer than an hour. Really even 30.
We use our, this might be, which we use our, like, word use, right?
Well, maybe like there's an option because since I don't have cancers over more and have.
If you would like, I can, but it's okay if you can't make any other times. Because you work like 4 hours a week, right? Yeah. No,
Cause I thought bookings were working, or like, they're doing it.
it may not be.
Is that why we're not, are we doing bookings together or no?
Jenston does.
Okay.
I don't know to what capacity Robbie will have you use it.
Cause
Yeah.
we were trying to get working, and I thought that was the calendar, so.
We're gonna check in on that, so that we can do the update on it.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought
Good.
that, like,
Did you say
the
use
bookings
your
was the calendar.
FA account or your-
So-
It really doesn't matter, whichever's easier,
We'll do that.
as long as I know it's you. Okay, so Lauren voted in the doodle. Kaylee voted in the doodle. And then did any of them work? Okay, that's okay. And you're about to vote in the doodle. Okay. So I will send you a post-training agreement after this on Adobe Sign. It's the same thing that you use to sign your participant agreement whenever you join the program. So it'll look familiar. You literally just click a button and type in your name. But basically it's just saying that you do have access to confidential information, that you understand it needs to be kept confidential, and that it is your responsibility to do that. And failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in your termination. Womp womp. And then the things that we talked about today are in there as well. Just some general guidelines. If you have any questions about whatever is on the confidentiality agreement, please ask me and I'm happy to talk with you more about it. I'm going to send it to your SA email. So I need that within a week of today. But it literally takes 30 seconds to sign. So, okay. Burning questions? Okay. So I do have a little bit of a checklist for you guys to do within the next week or two, preferably week. It'll be watch the answering the call video. It's really important. It's trio history. It's really good stuff. Honestly, it really like re-energizes me personally. So I hope that you'll enjoy it as well. And then just some other little housekeeping things like signing your confidentiality agreement, reviewing the UCO resources, those different types of things. So I'll post it in the student staff chat and then you'll thumbs up so that I know that you saw it and that you're going to do it or have done it. Okay. Questions, concerns? Okay. Thank you guys. We're done. Yay. If you'll stick around, there's more, a little bit.
Stop recording,
Stop where?
stop sharing, there's a stop recording. The stop button.
Stop.